So the key idea for Paley is going to be the idea of good complexity, and we're going to see what that is in a little bit. But let's remember where we are. So we know that Paley gives us this basic argument: if a watch exists, there is a powerful intelligence. The world is like the watch. So if the world exists, there's a supreme intelligence. And we're in the middle of asking why we should believe, or why Paley believes his first claim: if a watch exists, then there is a powerful intelligence. And we said, okay, well, it looks like the way it's going to go is Paley's going to say this watch has some sort of property, some sort of feature, some sort of aspect, and he's going to say that everything with that feature or property or aspect was designed by a powerful intelligence, and those two premises together would indeed, it would follow that there is a powerful intelligence. And so the question we need to ask is, how should we fill in the blank in this argument? What is the property that on the one hand watches have, and on the other hand everything like that was designed by a powerful intelligence? Well, again, the watch and the stone comparison is helpful here. Remember, when you see a stone, you don't conclude it was designed. You see a watch, you do conclude it was designed. What's the difference between the two? What makes you think, aha, yes, the watch was designed and the stone was not? I mean, the stone might be very pretty, right? Why do you think the watch was designed and the stone wasn't? Well, here's a picture of a watch, and one of the things you notice about the watch right away is, oh my gosh, it's really complicated. This is a mechanical watch, of course, but I mean, look at all those gears and how they're all put together, and they're tiny, and they're all aligned, and they're different levels. It's super complicated. So is it just being complex? We say, aha, this watch is complex. Every complex thing was designed by a powerful intelligence? No. Here's an ink blot, and this is a super complex ink blot, right? There are tons of little details to it, right? Like, you could draw a square, and a square would be very simple, and you know what the shape was. It's very easy to say what shape a square is. Saying what this shape is, it's really complicated. It has a ton of detail. Do we think that this was created by a powerful intelligence? Well, in fact, this one probably was. Someone, put some ink on a page and smush it together, but, this could have been a ketchup spill or something. So, what is it about watches? It's not just that they're complex. So, the watch does have a lot of parts, but the watch also has a goal. It has a goal of telling time. There's a purpose or a function of the watch. It's to tell time. At least, basically, some of them are to look nice and so on, but it's to tell time. And there's a relationship between the parts on the one hand and the goal on the other hand, namely that the parts are arranged in a very precise, complex way so that the watch can in fact tell the time. So the watch we might think is well ordered. The watch has what we might think of as good complexity, meaning and stones, are stones like that? No, stones may be actually, you might think a stone is simple, but it might actually be very complex. It might have a very sort of varied and interesting surface to it, but that surface isn't doing anything. It's not bringing about some goal. It wasn't arranged in order to produce an effect. So by well-ordered, or by a sort of good complexity, what we mean is this. A thing is well-ordered, or it has good complexity when? Well, when it's good, and it's complex, and it's good in a complex way. The complexity of the thing helps to make it good. So now we can see how the design argument is supposed to go. The key idea is that good complexity needs a designer, and that's why it's called the design argument. It's sometimes also called the teleological argument. I mentioned this just because I'm supposed to, and it's something you should have heard. Teleological is a Greek word, and it means having to do with the nature or goal or function of the thing. And as we saw, good complexity, right, we're saying there's goodness, that the thing has a goal, and it gets to that goal in a complex way. Okay, so here then is what we might think of as the watch argument. Well, okay, so we say this watch is well-ordered, it has good complexity, and we say every well-ordered thing was designed by a powerful intelligence. Well, okay, good, but... so let me just say what I mean by powerful intelligence at this point. So I'm thinking of intelligence, just a thing with a mind that it can think and reason and act. What do we mean by powerful? Well, in particular, how powerful? Well, it's more powerful than the thing that it created. So the human is more powerful than the watch. The watch can do specific things that we can't do, but we are overall much more powerful than watches. We can create watches. Watches can't create us. We can destroy watches. Watches can't destroy us. And we can do all sorts of things that watches can't do as well. The creator, its intelligence is more complex and arranged than the creation, right? Your mind, the mind of the watchmaker, has all of the order of the watch in it, and a whole bunch of other stuff besides, right? The mind has a representation of how all the different pieces of the parts in the watchmaker's mind. The watchmaker knows how they all fit together, and in exactly the right way to make the watch tell time. So there's whatever complexity there is in the watch, there's mirroring complexity in the watchmaker's mind. But then there's much more in the watchmaker's mind than just that complexity. And finally, Paley, I think, wants to think that in some sense the creator is more valuable or better than the creation, right? We create the watch to serve us. It serves our ends. So in that sense, we're better or more important or more valuable than the watch. So we want to ask, here we have this argument. We have some understanding what the conclusion means by saying powerful intelligence. We have some idea of what well-ordered means. And we want to ask, is this a good argument? Well, how do you evaluate arguments? Well, if an argument is, remember this word valid, right? It means no matter what, if the premises are true, so is the conclusion, and there's no missing premises, everything is explicit. So if an argument is valid, and it has true premises, then the argument establishes the conclusion. On the other hand, if the argument is invalid, or one of the premises are false, then the argument does not establish the conclusion. So we want to ask, then we have to ask, is the argument valid or not? And are all of its premises true or not? Well, the argument is certainly valid. You see, the watch has this feature. The second premise says everything with that feature, with feature 1 has feature 2, is related to a thing. In particular, it's related to a powerful intelligence, and so if it's related to a powerful intelligence, then there is a powerful intelligence. This is a valid argument. The key question is, and watches are well ordered, and that means the only remaining question is the second premise true? Is it the case that every well-ordered thing indeed was designed by a powerful intelligence, or are there well-ordered things that were not designed by powerful intelligences? So, why does Paley believe this? Why does Paley believe that every well-ordered thing was designed by a powerful intelligence? Well, we can think of what's going on here. Paley has a sub-argument. So there's the main watch argument, but then he's going to have an argument to support this premise we're looking at. We're looking at the premise, each well-ordered thing was designed by a powerful intelligence, and we're asking, why does Paley believe that premise of the main argument? So, well, he probably is thinking something like this. Take a well-ordered thing. There are two ways it could have come about. Either it was a huge coincidence that all the pieces of the watch happened to just fall together in the right way and the watch started telling time, or it was created by a powerful intelligence. Well, huge coincidences do happen, but by definition they're very unlikely. And so, while maybe we can't be absolutely certain when we find a well-ordered thing that it was created by a powerful intelligence, we can be extremely confident that it was created by a powerful intelligence. So we have this valid argument. We don't get to the conclusion that each well-ordered thing was designed by a powerful intelligence, but we get the next best thing. Each well-ordered thing almost certainly was designed by a powerful intelligence. Either it was designed by a powerful intelligence, or it's a huge coincidence, and it's very unlikely that it's a huge coincidence, and so it's highly likely, it's almost certain that it was designed by a powerful intelligence. Okay, so now, again, we can ask, what do we think about this argument? And this argument, again, is valid, and so we want to ask, are the premises true? And the second premise, huge coincidences are very unlikely, that's definitely true. And so the question is this premise true? Is the first premise true? We figured out what Paley's initial argument was. Then we asked, okay, well, why does he believe the second premise? And we got this argument. And now we have to ask, okay, well, what about this argument? Why should we believe the first premise of this argument? And here, I think Paley kind of gets to rock bottom. He's not going to give us another argument. He's going to say, look, I think this is pretty obvious. What is the alternative? I can't think of one. I can't imagine one. There isn't one. There are two ways a well-ordered thing could have come into existence, either created by a powerful, designed by a powerful intelligence, or a huge coincidence. There just aren't any other options. I can't think of any, and I can't think of any because they don't exist. That's, I think, where Paley's coming from. Okay, so now that means we can now put the whole watch argument together. So we started with the idea this watch is well ordered, and we conclude almost certainly there is a powerful intelligence. How do we do that? Well, we start back. We say, well, a well-ordered thing is either a huge coincidence or created by a powerful intelligence, and huge coincidences are very unlikely. Those two claims tell us that every well-ordered thing almost certainly was designed by a powerful intelligence, and so we can put that together, with that intermediate claim together with the claim we started with, and we can conclude almost certainly there is a powerful intelligence. So we can map out Paley's argument, right? There's the conclusion, there's the main argument, which is the middle row, and then there's the sub-argument for one of the premises of the main argument. We could also rearrange, and so what this really means is that the things in green are the basic premises, and that middle blue claim is like an intermediate claim on the way to the conclusion. It follows from some of the other premises. So really, we can say this is Paley's argument. It's got these three premises. This watch is well ordered. Huge coincidences are very unlikely, and a well-ordered thing is either a huge coincidence or created by a powerful intelligence, and that gives us the conclusion, almost certainly there is a powerful intelligence. Argument is valid. Only question is, and the two smaller premises are true, so the only remaining question about the argument is that middle premise true? If we were really into the watch argument, we would then spend some time discussing that. But we're not really into the watch argument. The watch argument is supposed to be motivating the argument we actually really care about, which is the argument for the existence of God. And so that's where we're going to turn in the next video, because we are now at the end of this video. We figured out the watch argument in a bunch of detail, and now we're going to see in the next video, can we, how do we take this watch argument and turn and create a version of it that's not the watch, but about the world, that's not about just powerful intelligences, but supreme intelligences, i.e. God.